What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Double A Hef here with another dose of the Truth Scope. So I want to keep this one short as possible. I'm trying to get back in the swing of things, y'all. I know it's been a long time, but your boy is back, and I got gems. I'm spitting that hot fire. Okay, so a few weeks ago there was a little scrum, a verbal scrum between the one and only Stephen A. Smith of ESPN and Mr. Jason Whitlock of the Blazes Fearless podcast or YouTube show. I'm not sure exactly what. I think it's a podcast, but it's like a TV show. But that's neither here nor there. So if you're unfamiliar with either of those two people, they're both sports analysts, I guess you can say. Even though Jason Whitlock often speaks about how he's a journalist, sports journalist. So he takes a lot of pride in journalism, whereas Stephen A. Smith is more along the lines of a talking head, basically, like a TV personality. So again, if you're not too familiar with them or what happened, just Google or YouTube search them. You'll see the videos and you'll hear the back and forth and stuff like that. Now, if you are familiar with both of those brothers, then welcome to the channel, because now I'm about to break it down, but not into great depth. Mainly, this video is going to be not really attacking, but dissecting what this brother is going to say, because unfortunately, this brother echoes a lot of the sentiments that many of our people at large agree with, and they think like that. And again, unfortunately, it doesn't benefit us as a whole. It does not benefit us at all, and I'm going to point out the reasons why. So again, I don't really know who this brother is. I think the name of his channel is Machiavelli. You're right there, Machiavelli Mills. So shout out to him for making this content so that way I could break it down and give it to y'all. But without further ado, let's get this started.
So Stephen A. Smith going the fuck off on Jason Whitlock, calling him every name under the sun, calling him all type of fat bastards, calling him calling him the B word, everything, right? And I'm telling you, it would have been even better if the ether beat was playing in the background. And y'all, Jason Whitlock deserves all of this.
So I'll be quick with this. So before I let him continue, I just want to point this out. He talks about how Stephen A. destroyed Jason Whitlock. And again, I'm not here to, defend anyone. I'm just speaking on objective truth, okay? So with that being said, if someone is calling someone all the names in the book, as this brother said, the B word and all this stuff and stuff like that, you have to ask yourself, well, what did the other person say to receive that, right? Because if I say to you, hey, let's just say that you're an NBA player, and I say, hey, you got to work on getting back on defense and stuff like that. Overall, you played a decent game, but it could have been a great game. You got to sit in that chair on defense. You have to, be there to provide help defense. You got to slide your feet. You looked a little lackadaisical out there, and on offense, you weren't really getting involved. You were kind of just hovering around the 3-point line. You were getting your shots to fall, but ultimately, you could have had a better performance. If someone says something like that to you or to anyone, and then they hit them back with the, use a bitch and use a pussy and all the ad hominems, all right, that's what that is called. Those are called ad hominems, okay? If that is the rebut, then the issue is actually with the person throwing or slinging those ad hominems. Because if you're not going to address what the person brought up on its substance and keep it in context, then that's on you. So I can't sit here and say that Stephen A. Smith destroyed anybody, because what is the line for destroying somebody, whether or not you outcursed them or threw as many swear words at them as possible? Is that how that goes? No. At the end of the day, people have the right to say what they want. People have the right to their opinions, and people also have the right to state their observations. So we have to be better than that as a people, to think that, someone says something that I don't like, whether it's true or not, that, I get to just sling, ad hominems at them, and then, okay, now I don't have to address what was actually brought up. No, we have to be more mature than that. And until we get to that level, no one's going to take us seriously. Because I wouldn't take anyone seriously like that. I don't take Stephen A. Smith seriously after that rebut to what Jason Whitlock said. I don't. Address what was said, or don't.
All of this. Jason Whitlock is the worst type of black man you could ever see. One of the worst, right? He's the black man who works in corporate America, comes out of it, trashes corporate America after he was pushing certain agendas, right, against black American people.
What certain agendas was he pushing, brother? All right, when we speak, we need to speak clearly and get the point across. What are we saying? What are the agendas?
Trashing black folks on a daily basis. He leaves that,
How was he trashing black folks on a daily basis? What was he saying? Was there any validity to what he was saying? Was there no validity to what he was saying?
Gets pushed out of that job, and then he goes full on, like, conservative talking points that white supremacists that they spew. He starts to regurgitate those talk.
Who are white supremacists? Now I know there's a lot of brothers out there that's gonna be like, oh, all white people are white supremacists. Basically, the Umar Johnson, the Tariq Nasheeds, they're all white supremacists, right? And what I've always said to stuff like that is this: even a broke clock is right twice a day. So even if somebody is, let's just say someone is the biggest racist, white supremacist, KKK, whatever, you name it, Aryan Nation, brother, whatever, right? Oh, the Proud Boys, all of them, right? Say this person is the accumulation of all of that and more. Does that mean that anything and everything that they say cannot be correct and shouldn't even be listened to at all? Now, I know most people are going to say, well, yeah, no, why would we? Look, the answer is this. Again, just because you disagree with somebody in their lifestyle and their choices and stuff like that doesn't mean that they can't get something right and say, hey, well, you know what? Yeah, I am a huge racist and I fucking can't stand quote unquote black people. But, some of these things that I'm saying is true. It's true. So what? Do we as black people say, oh, we throw the baby out with the bathwater? I'm not sitting here saying we should go and exalt that person and be like, oh my God, thank you so much, white Jesus, for pointing out our flaws. No, of course not. That's not how we're going to react. But we shouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We should be able to be mature enough and say, okay, you're a piece of shit, and I don't give a fuck about you, but that piece that you said, that is true. And you know what? I may not like hearing it. So what am I going to do about it? I'm going to address it. That way, when you start going on your racist, diatribes again, you're not going to say anything that's really going to be true because I'm acknowledging the things that are true and I'm addressing the things that are true. But unfortunately for us as a whole, the quote unquote black community does not handle it like that. The quote unquote black community wants to deflect and obfuscate.
Points. I'm talking about any chance he could get to throw black folks under the bus, he does it. A situation could be clearly about race, where a black person is being racially discriminated against. Jason Whitlock will reach to the moon, stars, heavens above in order to try to find an angle that's not race at all. He does not. He refuses to address racism in anything.
Well, what I'll say to that is this: you don't know what's in the minds and the hearts of anybody else unless they literally come and tell you. And even then, they could be lying when they tell you that. So ultimately, you don't know what lies in the minds and the hearts of others. So to sit there and say that, oh, when something could be clearly racist, for me to, how do you define that? How do you define it? So again, brother, Mr. Machiavelli Mills, if you're going to bring up these things, bring up the instances that Jason Whitlock did that. Bring up the examples. State it, or state one of your examples. State it. You can't just speak. You're just speaking right now. And again, this is what our people do at a large level and what we accept at a grandiose level. We just accept people to just blow smoke. And if we don't ask any questions, ask the questions. Okay, I hear what you're saying. Now how are you going to substantiate that? How are you going to back it up? Because if you don't do that, then why should I believe that it even occurred? How you're saying that it occurred? Why should I adopt the mindset that you have adopted and go forward like that? Why would I do that? How would that benefit me, you, or the black community at large, or my family, my friends? How would that benefit?
He acts like racism is a figment of black people's imagination. He will, try to undermine any type of black movement at any turn in order to nestle up to white folks so they can rub.
Well, listen, I need to know. Again, this guy's just talking. I need to know what you said he would try to like derail black movements. What black movements have there been? Right? I'm a 90s baby. I can't even think of any black movements. I'm not counting BLM as a black movement. Okay? That's not a black movement. That was destruction. All right? So, what are you talking about? Brothers, when we're listening to people, when you're listening to me on this channel, ask yourself the question, what the hell is this nigga talking about? All right? Keep it with the substance. Have a beginning and have an end and a message. This dude's just talking.
His head and pat him on the head and say attaboy. That's the shit that he does. And he's been doing it for so long, he's built a strong following from a lot of racist conservative people. For sure. A lot of these racist
like who?
Conservative, white supremacist individuals, they love him and adore him because he spits the shit they love to hear. Things like, hey, George Floyd died from overdose. He didn't really get choked. His knee wasn't really on his neck like that. And, says things like, oh, police brutality, it's a myth.
Well, I'm on record as stating that George Floyd being on fentanyl did not help him. Did not help him. The knee on the neck didn't help him either, I'm sure. But, when you're a drug addict and you're basically like mixing uppers and downers and stuff like that, and then you're in a position where you're immobilized and your heart is racing, you could definitely fall into the cardiac arrest. And we know that fentanyl kills people. So I don't, like I said, I'm on record as stating this. George Floyd basically killed himself. If he didn't die, he was going to die. All right? And quite frankly, people in that greater Minneapolis, St. Paul area should be happy that he's dead. Because he was a dredge on society. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that people should just be, like running around, just cleaning the streets of, the dredges of society. No, not necessarily. But people get what they got coming to them. That's it, man. And is it unfortunate that happened to this man? Yes, it is. Is it something that I wish to see, that I want to see? No, not at all. But again, you're responsible for your actions, and George Floyd has to be responsible for his actions. Because I could simply make the case, if he wasn't out there with the damn counterfeit bills, it's quite possible that he could still be alive today. Right? So again, we have to take accountability for what we are doing wrong. I hate when I hear brothers say, "Oh, the cops done did this. They locked up such so and so. They was rough with them. Yada yada." Well, look, the best way to not get locked up or have the cops be rough with you is to not put yourself in a position where you're gonna have to come into contact with the cops. So if you have counterfeit bills that you're trying to get off, and if you have drugs that are deemed to be illegal in your city, state, whatever, what have you, and if you park in a handicapped spot and you're not handicapped just because you want to run in the store real quick, and and some of these things may be little and some will be larger, but at the end of the day, you are in control of your life. And I always say this, because the same people that's out here screaming racism, oh my God, it's so alive and it's living and breathing and yada yada. And again, I'm not sitting here saying that racism doesn't exist. What I'm saying is, for the majority of people, especially the ones that are out there talking about it like this dude is, you're not being hit with it. You're not being hit with racism. You're not being hit with it. You're not being hit with racism. Oh, Dub, how you know that? Because if he was being hit with racism, that's what he'd be talking about. The brother's been talking for, let's see how many minutes, 2 minutes, and hasn't once put a name or a face to anything that he's saying, hasn't substantiated anything that he said or validated it. So if it had indeed occurred to him or in his life, I'm sure he would have stated it. I'm sure he'd bring it up, for his anecdotal experience. Racism is this and is that, and this is how I know. 2 years ago, the cops did this to me, and yada, yada. I got it all on tape, and I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, then. But we don't see that. That's not the case.
It's a myth. Black people are complainers. They're whiners. They don't want to work. Oh.
Well, yeah, there are a lot of black people that are complainers and whiners and don't want to work. What about them?
Black people don't have anything going on. Hey, what about these? Hey, man. Hey, I'm telling you, he's the worst type of black man. Seriously.
It's interesting he says that. He's the worst type of black man. So naturally, if I was to ever talk to this dude, my question would be, well, then if he's the worst type of black man, right? A successful black man who has put on many other black people, whether he was on ESPN, Fox Sports 1, or The Blaze, I always seen him on TV shows with a bunch of black people. So if he's the worst type of black man, and I'm not sitting here saying that he's some type of saint or whatever, but if he's the worst, then what's an example of the best type of black man? We have to ask these people these type of questions because, again, they're just talking.
Seriously, he'll act like he advocates. I want to help the black American people, but he really doesn't.
Advocate.
He really doesn't. He don't care about black folks for real. He wants to use black folks as a punching bag in order to get where he wants to go, and he knows there is a market it's a market to spew anti-black racism. And he's found that niche, and that core following snuggles up to him, and they love and honor and praise him. But he know real black folks ain't fucking with him. So he got to run over there to the racists.
What is anti-black racism? And what is real black folks? What is real black? What is black? What the fuck is going on here? This is the biggest word soup salad I've ever fucking come across on YouTube. And no disrespect to you, brother. I don't know you. I don't know any of your videos outside of this. I do not. But this is just, you're not saying anything, man. What the hell is real black folks? What does that even mean? Like I need a personalized dictionary just to keep up with this damn video. Because I don't get anything that you're trying to say.
White supremacists. He got to run over there to them. Because he can't be around in black neighborhoods and communities like that. He ain't gonna get no love. Motherfucker be like, bro, what the? No, man, you come around, they not rocking with Jason. His black colleagues at ESPN, they wasn't rocking with him.
Who? Let's drop the names, brother. Come on.
People at Fox FS1 was not rocking with him. They wasn't. Because they know what he's about. And, it's very disheartening when people try to act like they don't know what's so wrong about Jason because he has a different opinion. Listen, some shit you gotta be black to understand. Okay?
What the fuck does that even mean? What the fuck does that even mean? Let's stop on that for a second, y'all. Let's stop on that. Because you gotta be black to understand certain things, right? I'm just gonna pull a name out the air. Sexy Red. So if Sexy Red understands what you're saying, right? She's black. She's the epitome of black. She's the poster child of black. We should be rocking with what she says because she agrees with you about Jason Whitlock. Sexy Red. Like, what are we saying, my man? What are we saying, dude?
I'm not a man who's biracial. I'm not racially ambiguous. This is my shit every day. My skin. Right? And when you walk in this black skin and you understand certain things that black American people have to deal with.
To be quite honest with you, brother, I don't think you understand much of anything. And I mean that with no disrespect. I don't think you truly, you're not coming across to me as someone that's well versed. You know, you don't seem adroit. Uh, I'm just not picking it up. I could be wrong. This is only one video. I'm not going to allow one video to, basically, coat you in my mind. But from this one video, it's not looking good. I don't think you really understand much of anything. Just by the fact that you don't think that you have to put a name to anything that you've said or substantiate anything that you've said up until this point in this video.
Certain barriers that we have in place against us in this country, even though, we...
What barriers? I'm not saying that there aren't any barriers. I want to ask you what barriers, since you're speaking about it so freely, so liberally. Come on, why just bring it? Why be so vague? Why be so vague? If it's so, we're so immersed in it, and you got to be black to understand it and see it, then how come you can't? How come you can't say it? Right? You don't see it?
Yeah, we're blessed to be American citizens. We have a lot more privileges than a lot of people in third world countries or in everything, right? Yes, we recognize that. But there's some shit going on in this country that ain't right amongst our community.
You're right. There's a lot of shit going on in this country that ain't right against our community. And the majority of it starts in our community, in our homes, brother, in our homes. I get it. The whole racist shit, I get it. But unfortunately, for many of the people that spewing that out of their mouth, it doesn't go with what the reality says and what the reality points out. The reality says your biggest issue is going to be somebody that looks like you. Okay? Your biggest issue is going to be someone that looks like you and comes from where you come from. That's what the stats say. That's what the stats say. That's what the stats say. See, I'm not just saying shit. That's what the fucking stats say. You're likely to be killed by someone that looks like you. If you don't make it to the age of 25, it's because more than likely it's going to be at the hands of someone that looks like you. So again, we could talk racism, yeah, but from where I stand, there are at least 10 things, and there's more, but at least 10 things that are very important that we need to address first before we even start to even think about tackling the race issue. Because the race issue at large isn't holding us back. We are. Like the crabs in a barrel analogy. We are. So you want to talk about racist, but then when other young blacks are killing each other, when there's Planned Parenthoods on every corner, when niggas is just shooting up the club, having babies and not being fathers, don't know how to be a father, when women are being told, hey, you know what, you don't need a man. You know what I'm saying? You don't need a man. You're just as good as a man, if not better. Fuck that. You are better than a man. You don't need a man. Fuck it. Have the man's kid though, so you can live off the teat of the white man and his system, right? Live off the white man and his system, but you don't need the man though. No, what they're saying is you don't need the black man. And when you have young brothers like this one out here talking this nonsense, when he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. That's a problem. And again, I'm not making this video to knock this brother at all. I don't even know why his video popped up on my shit, to be honest with you, but it did. And I was watching, I was like, whoa, I gotta address some of this stuff. I need to address some of this stuff. This isn't gonna work. He's putting out bad information. First of all, it's not even information. He's putting out this. He's not even putting any type of information out. He's just talking.
And Jason Whitlock he's one of the Larry Elder black folks. Only problem that's going on with black folks is fatherlessness. That's it.
Well, actually, for one, I've listened to Larry Elder speak many times. And he was actually on the Breakfast Club and he freaking sunned Charlamagne the God. That was great. That was great. Sunned the hell out of Charlamagne, the quote unquote God. But yeah, so I've heard Larry Elder speak many times. And I've never heard of one say the only problem in the black community is fatherlessness. It's a big problem in the black community. And again, it's funny because people like this brother will bring it up, but just to try to mock it, but never address it. Like bring it up to mock it, but won't even do so in a clear, coherent way that's going to be backed up with anything tangible. Okay, if you don't think that that's a problem in the black community, tell us why it's not. Give us the evidence as to why it's not.
Fatherlessness and kids out of wedlock is the only problem. It's the only problem. Only problem. He don't want to talk about any type of police brutality, racial discrimination, nothing.
Police brutality. Listen, police brutality is always going to be a thing as long as there's police, number one. Number two, it's always going to be a thing as long as there's police that aren't from your community. So if you have people that aren't from your community policing you, you get people that don't look like the people in your community policing you, what do you expect's going to happen? Now, does that mean that I'm giving carte blanche to anyone to just go start brutalizing people because they're police and they're not from that quote unquote community? No, of course not. But ultimately, what the hell do you expect? If you want to change that, brother, what are you doing in your own town to try to get all the police force to be made up of people from said town that look like you? Huh? What are you doing about that? Are you doing anything about that? Or would you rather prefer not to do anything about it so that way you could just continue like Tariq Nasheed and Umar Johnson to just, play the race hustle game? The Colin Kaepernick. I ain't gonna play football. I ain't gonna stop kneeling until there's no more police brutality. Well, the nigga, you know what? Then just retire right now. Retire right now. Shit, I wish a nigga would have said I ain't gonna start living again until police brutality ends. Because I was like, nigga, well, here's your coffin. All right, get in, because you're never gonna live again. All right, you're just talking. You sound like an emotional bitch. That's what the fuck you sound like. And niggas that speak like that, that's what the fuck you sound like. You sound like an emotional damn bitch.
Wants to act like nothing is racist. He wants to act like everything is black American people's fault. That's what he does. And so when you got a boot-licking, butter biscuit eating Sambo like that, ain't no respect for you in a community like that, dog.
Ooh, a boot-licking, butter biscuit eating Sambo. Oh my God. Oh my God. My man went to Wokeley Woke School of Arts and graduated with a PhD. He was able to string that together. Oh man. Oh God. That's really substantive, my man. It's really substantive.
It's not. It's not. Kissing Brett Favre's ass for stealing the money from them poor folks in Mississippi. Stealing the welfare money, kissing his ass, snuggling up.
Well, first of all, the whole Brett Favre thing is a whole different story in general. But you know what? Since that's the first name that you brought up, I'm going to talk about it, brother. Thank you for finally bringing up a name. What Brett Favre did with that money, celebrities do that shit all the time. All the time. They start these foundations. It's just so they can get kickbacks and shit like that. That's it. LeBron James, everyone's favorite basketball player, right? The GOAT, right? LeBron James. What do you think the I Promise School is? Huh? What do you think all that was? This is common. And that's why nothing really happened in Brett Favre, because it's commonplace. The only thing with Brett was that he probably took too many shots to the head, too many concussions, and he just got a little sloppy with his shit, but that's commonplace. And am I saying that that's okay, that celebrities do that and they steal the money and stuff like that? No, I'm not saying that, but it's just commonplace. There's nothing out of the norm here, nothing to see here. It's business as usual.
To him, trying to defend him against Shannon Sharp, trying to trash Shannon Sharp in order to take up for Brett fucking Favre, who was stealing money with his rich ass, all that money he done made in contracts.
Well, first of all, you shouldn't be counting another man's money, number one. Number two, Jason Whitlock and Shannon Sharp, they have a long history together. So if he has an issue with Shannon Sharp, it's not just from like the outside looking in. It's they were work colleagues. All right, so they know each other far more or far greater than you can purport to know them.
And the Wrangler jeans, still trying to steal government aid money.
Well, actually, quote unquote, black people steal government aid money too all the damn time. So, are you making the case to like stop all these things, or are you saying like only certain people can't do it? I'm trying to figure out where you are. Are you coming? Are you going? Like, what are you saying, my man?
For real? He's taking up for him at every turn to protect and coddle Brett Favre. Are you fucking kidding me? That's the type of dude you have.
Here's an urgent message.
Fucking kidding me? That's the type of dude you have. Will protect a man who was taking money from poor folks in a state that includes a lot of poor black folks. That money could have went to a lot of families that's struggling. And here come Brett Favre trying to act like a fake philanthropist and steal some funds to get a new volleyball facility.
That's what they all do. Okay? So, grow up, brother. Understand that. That's what they all do. So, if you're going to speak out about Brett Favre for doing it, speak about all the quote-unquote black celebrities that do it too.
Made in his name. When you took that money from elsewhere, allegedly, we got to use that. But yeah, this is the type of man Jason Whitlock is, and I'm surprised somebody ain't cussed him out in this fashion a long time ago. But see, Stephen A. Smith, he's the top dog at ESPN. He the highest paid there. He like, shit, I ain't got nothing to lose, man. Yeah, he know ESPN needs him. He works the hard.
Actually, he did lose. Actually, in that, Stephen A. took the loss. Why? Because all he did was just throw ad hominem attacks. Called him a fat bastard and dumb and stupid and low life and all sorts of stuff. But he didn't address any of the things that Jason Whitlock brought up in the initial video. That started all of this. He didn't address anything. Actually, I lied. He did address one thing about like Stephen A. not wanting to work with him because of something that Jason Whitlock had said. He talked about that, but outside of that, he didn't address anything that was brought up by Jason Whitlock about what Stephen A. Smith had written in his book. So again, anyone with a brain, like a man, will look at that and be like, yeah, nah, honestly, Stephen A., you probably should have, if you weren't going to address him on the substance, then you shouldn't have said anything at all. Because coming out on TV and saying, oh, you son of a bitch and you fat bastard, yeah, to the low-level thinking brothers like this dude right here, that's going to galvanize them, but that's not moving the needle. Like I said, if anything, Stephen A. took a hit, in my opinion, from my perspective, and not a big hit because I already expect that from Stephen A. Smith. So it wasn't a large hit, but still, nonetheless. And if I had to say who won or lost that, Jason Whitlock won. Because again, we still don't have any answers to the questions that he asked in the first video.
Art is there. Every event he's at, he's covering football, basketball, boxing. He does ESPN First Take. He comes on other people's shows. All that, man. He come on.
So basically, he's the bitch of ESPN is what you're saying. He's the corporate America bitch. It's interesting. You started out by talking about Jason Whitlock, the corporate America bitch and stuff like that. But now you're sitting here saying how like Stephen A. is basically corporate America's bitch.
Get up all them different shows he does in order to keep the ball rolling at ESPN. And they know that. And so he's like, yo, I'm good. I'm going to say my piece. I'm going to speak my piece about a person who's been talking shit about him for years. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead, Stephen A.
And honestly, since we're on the topic, this is something that I said years ago. Stephen A. Smith is that corporate dude that wants to butter biscuits. As this person would say it. Why and how? Because Stephen A. Smith has been top dog at ESPN for a long, long time. All right, he has a huge following, but yet he didn't start his own podcast until after Shannon Sharp and Club Shay Shay had already blown up. Stephen A. Smith should have been did that. He should have been struck out on his own. When ESPN had first canned his ass, he should have struck out on his own, but he didn't. Why? Because it's funny, you said that Jason Whitlock is the corporate America, bootlick and all sorts of shit, butter biscuits, but that's actually Stephen A. Smith. And again, that's how I know that you're not a well-learned person, my man, and it's okay. Hopefully this video gets back to you and you could tuck your ego to the side and listen to what I'm saying and pointing out about your quote-unquote take here.
Jason Whitlock, again, is the worst of the worst kind.
How do we measure that? And also, then what's the best of the best, please?
All the time, he'll try to point out how something is not racist. He'll try to find a non-racist angle to try to excuse non-black folks for being racist to black people.
When? Give an example, brother.
He'll try to figure out a way to excuse white supremacists on a daily basis. That's what he does.
All
That is his job. And now,
And what you do is you put a camera in front of you and you just start talking from your feelings. Brothers, we don't need any more people like this. We don't. We need men, okay? That when they're gonna speak, it's gonna come from a substantive place, okay? They're gonna be adroit. They're gonna be well thought. You know, they're gonna collect their ideas. They're gonna throw shit at the wall, see what sticks, and test it and test it and try it and test it and okay, this is what I'm gonna say, and this is why I'm gonna say, and this is why I believe it to be true. Like you don't just come out here and just start talking. Don't just start talking. And I'll take that back. You can come out here and start talking, but don't pretend that you're gonna give a take on a serious topic when you know that you're not a serious person and you don't have anything serious to say. So, this video went way longer than I wanted it to go, but I never made it this far into his video. I heard like the first 2 minutes and I was like, yeah, I gotta do a video on this. But ultimately, y'all listen to this. It's very simple, right? Does racism exist? Yes. Is racism at the forefront of keeping all of us back? Is racism the reason why, we are killing each other at alarming rates, whether it's physically, like by gun, by knife, or in the womb? Huh? Is it the reason why we have remained stagnant in our numbers? Like we've been anywhere between 12 to 14% of the national population for what, almost 100 years, I think, if not more. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Yet other demographics are growing for different reasons, but they're growing. There's a lot there. There's a lot to be unpacked. Are we going to talk about the matriarch? We're at a point right now where young quote unquote black brothers like this, all they want to hear is a quote unquote black man, an older quote unquote black male, I should say, just speaking emotionally like a Stephen A. Smith, going on national airwaves and freaking slinging ad hominem attacks about somebody that brought up some real inconsistencies in your book. But hey, it is what it is, right? That's why I make these videos. That's the purpose behind it. That's why I'm going to continue to make these videos. Hopefully, we could start waking up some of these young brothers out here, because it seems like every day now there's more and more people out here with a microphone and a camera in front of them, and they're talking, but they don't have nothing to say. They're not learned enough to offer anything. They have nothing to offer. And again, I'm not knocking these brothers, because clearly it's you don't got to listen to him speak that long to understand that. Okay, and again, not knocking them, but hey, we have to be better. Because I know that there's brothers out there, watching this stuff and agreeing with it, and hey, that's not the way. That is not the way. All right, but anyway, y'all, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you agree with what I said, if you disagree with what I said, or if you think I should tweak, or I could have tweaked something. Let me know, and then we can discuss it. Until next time, y'all. Peace.